I feel like I was the eye of the storm, and the destruction that I caused everybody around me was just massive. That in itself is heartbreaking to me as a father, a person of the community, and Christian values. I'm at a loss for how I could have let something like this happen, but it did. For all the people in my life that I love have also been in prison. Pardon me. They weren't behind bars. If they were in prison with me. The sorrow and remorse I have comes from the inside of my heart.
Because Sam Magro agreed to a plea bargain and there wasn't a criminal trial, you didn't hear what really happened to me. I was so confused when Sam Magro was arrested that I didn't tell the police the extent of Sam's crimes against me. Instead, I protected him by going along with his version of the story. The true story is really quite different than what the police and court records show. I went to live with the Magro family on August 27, 2009. They were going to mentor me and help me improve my life. Just a month and a half later, on the morning of October 12, 2009, after he had earned my trust as a father figure, Sam Magro raped me. I asked him to stop, and he did not. I was a virgin, and I was so naive about sex that I believed I had become pregnant. On the way to school that morning, I was hysterical, so Sam Magro stopped at a pharmacy to buy me a morning after pill. He had already explained that I had no need to worry because he had previously gotten a vasectomy, but I didn't understand what that meant, so I wasn't consoled by that. Even though I told him that he could never do that to me again, Sam continued to expect sex from me nearly every day up until his arrest on May 10, 2010. So at ages 14 and 15, for 7 months of my childhood, I had a sexual relationship with a man who was 51 years old. Inside, I was screaming for help, but because I was brainwashed and controlled by Sam Magro, I never told anyone. None of the adults who should have seen what was going on did anything either. They complained that we spent too much time together, but never took a good look at what was going on. Every morning, Sam Magro would come into my bed and have sex with me. Every night, he would come into my bed and have sex with me again, often keeping me awake until as late as 3 o'clock in the morning. All of this happened in his small home in Delhi, where he lived with his family, a wife, and 2 teenage sons. When we weren't in bed together, we were just together. If I went anywhere, he went with me, and vice versa. Sam Magro proposed to me, and we were married on November 13, 2009. Every month, we would celebrate our anniversary by going out together. He bought me a lot of nice gifts and took me to nice restaurants. I was so gullible and vulnerable. I was completely manipulated by him. Every single day, we lived as a couple, but in a house with his real family. Sam Magro was charged with 6 counts of unauthorized sex with a minor. He pled guilty to 3 counts. He was sentenced based upon those 3 counts. The actual number of times he had sex with me is closer to 300 times, maybe more. He was never charged with all of the other 294 counts of unauthorized sex with a minor. He was never charged with raping me. He was never charged with child pornography for the sex videos he made with me. He was never charged with kidnapping me and keeping me in a hotel for 4 days. He was never charged with contributing to the delinquency of a minor by serving me alcohol. A shot of vodka awaited me in my dresser drawer every day. He was never charged with possession of marijuana or contributing to the delinquency of a minor by giving me marijuana or buying me cigarettes and cigars. Sam Magro taught me how to cheat and helped me cheat on my schoolwork and tests. To help me cheat, he bought me a Bluetooth earpiece for my cell phone, which I would wear whenever I had a test. Since I was on an IEP at school, my teachers had to read my tests to me. I would simply call Sam on my cell phone, the teacher would read the question, Sam would hear the question, and then he would give me the answer in my ear. He taught me how to beat the system. That's how I made honor roll. Sam and Jenny Magro claimed to be saving me from my dysfunctional family and a life of drugs and alcohol and sex. Instead, that was the life they gave me. Your Honor, you sentenced Sam Magro, my abuser, to a prison sentence of 4 years. He has served only 18 months of his sentence, less than half. I was counting on him being in prison at least 3.5 years of the sentence. That would allow me to graduate from high school in the spring of 2014. Then I can go away to college and not have to encounter him again. Here is the problem. I still have to live in Delhi. My family can't afford to move out of Delhi. I still have to go to the same school as I did before. Everyone in my community and everyone at my school knows who I am. After this happened, people would openly call me unkind names, or point at me and laugh, and even accuse me of ruining the Magro family. Kids at school and school staff to this day call me the girl who had sex with a teacher. I would hide in the bathroom and vomit, or go to my counselor and cry. I called my mom day after day to pick me up at school shortly after she dropped me off because the kids were so cruel to me. Even the teachers and faculty were cruel to me because Sam's wife is a teacher in the same school district. For over a year after Sam's arrest, my anxiety was so high that I couldn't eat, and my depression was so severe that I would sleep 15 to 18 hours a day. I was on a waiting list for counseling for over 6 months before I was able to see a therapist at Children's Hospital. I have now been diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder. When I heard that Sam Magro had filed a motion for judicial release again, it put me right back into the pain I have worked so hard to get rid of.
I'm not going to modify that sentence. The motion for judicial release is overruled.
At least I'm going to give you such an angry paper.